Thanks for joining me. In today's episode, I'm going to talk you through getting started on your housework. And I'm also going to talk about the importance of having structure in your day and how it can help you create an effective morning routine. I'm Ronnie, and you're listening to Clean With Me, the podcast where I walk you through cleaning your house step by step. When you clean along with this show, you'll get more done in less time so you can spend the rest of your day doing what matters most to you. It's time to gear up for our cleaning session. The first thing I want you to do is get presentable. Maybe you're not dressed for the day yet, or maybe you just need to slip some shoes on, or maybe you need to run a brush through your hair with the help of a spray bottle to get rid of that bed head. Maybe you like to put your hair up, or maybe you wear it down. That's where the spray bottle can come in. Actually, the spray bottle can help either way. When I put my hair in a ponytail, I often use a spray bottle for that. And when I say spray bottle, I'm usually talking about a leave-in conditioner of some sort, but I've also been known to just use plain water or refill that conditioning spray bottle with water. But I want you to do whatever helps you feel presentable. This could mean washing your face and putting on some moisturizer, or it could mean going a few steps further and adding some makeup. For me, mascara is a must. Some type of lip balm is a must. And lately, I like to mix a tinted sunscreen, like a tinted mineral sunscreen, in with my daily moisturizing cream. It's kind of my summer look. I'm not typically putting on actual foundation more than like once a week or something. If the sound quality is slightly different, please forgive me. Most episodes are not like this. I'm not in my desk with my professional mic right now. I'm recording out in the car because I have a house full today. But lately, my morning routine has been so crucial that I wanted to talk about it. Sometimes in the summer, those who are stay-at-home moms with kids, or maybe people who work part-time or work from home, just if you have kids and getting them to school provides some kind of structure for you, there could be a tendency to kind of drop the ball and be a little bit disorganized. And obviously, the summer is a time to do things differently and enjoy the freedom that, your life not revolving around the school year can provide. But that having been said, you still need some kind of structure in your day. My mom used to always have us do a certain list of chores before swimming. Like we had some chores we had to do in the morning. Then we'd have lunch. Then we'd wait the 30 minutes. Remember when they used to tell you that? Wait 30 minutes before swimming. I mean, it's probably still a good idea if you're doing some kind of intensive swimming in deep water where you could freeze up and drown or something. But I think we had to wait. We had to wait 30 minutes before going out to our 4-foot above ground pool as school-aged kids. But my point is, that was the structure that she created in the summer. Even though she could kind of sleep in, let us get our own cereal and watch cartoons, we had to do certain housework before lunch, and then we got to look forward to swimming, whether it was in our own yard or we were going to a public pool that day. And oftentimes we had swimming lessons for a couple weeks during the summer. And that also kind of gave us a deadline for getting our chores done. The swimming lessons were typically late morning, so we'd do our chores, we'd go to swimming lessons, and then we'd come home and have lunch. And then we could play the rest of the day. And we did not have a lot of chores, but whatever she wanted us to get done, she would use the swimming as an incentive. So far, something that's provided me with structure this summer is making my so far, the thing that's provided, hopefully by now you've geared up for your cleaning session. I want you to gather up. Hopefully by now you've done whatever you needed to do to gear up for your cleaning session. You're looking presentable, or you started some laundry, or ideally both. The next thing I want you to do is gather up any dishes from around the house and get those to the sink. And then once you've done that, straighten up your immediate front entrance. If your front entryway and living room are one and the same, you might want to even pick up the living room. Okay? Remove any clutter from the floor, straighten those couch cushions, or just, clean up your foyer entryway area, as well as getting all of the dishes to the kitchen, because of course we're going to do dishes. That's an important part of your morning routine, unless you are doing your evening routine late. As far as out, the kitchen's closed, you're closing the kitchen, you're getting down to dish zero. But sometimes there can be a tendency for dishes to accumulate in the evening, even after you clean up the dinner mess. Okay, so whether you cleaned up your dinner mess and then other dishes happened, or you didn't even clean up the dinner mess, sometimes dealing with those dishes is an important part of your morning routine. And of course, the first step is getting them to the kitchen, and then having the front entrance presentable can make you feel ready for somebody coming to the door or someone in your family coming home. But while you're doing that, I'll just talk about some things that have helped create structure for me over the years. When we first moved to this town, I did not know anyone here, and I was a stay-at-home mom. I hadn't even started this podcast yet, so I did a little bit of writing, but I wasn't really in writing mode per se. So I was kind of just a full-blown stay-at-home mom when we first got here. And not to this house, but to this town. And one way that I kind of motivated myself each day is I would get dressed for the day, get in my car. My kids were old enough to stay home alone. Get in the car. I would get in the car and drive through Sonic and get myself an iced coffee with chocolate. They don't call it an iced mocha there. It's an iced coffee, and then you have chocolate added to it or whatever. But it was basically an iced mocha. I would get that. And it was 32 ounces. I don't know how many calories it had. Unfortunately, it caused me to gain weight, so I could have picked a lower calorie option to start my day. And I still drink sweet coffee every morning, but this was too big of a container. It was like 32 ounces, or maybe it was 40 ounces. I don't know. It was big. So I'm not really condoning the size of my breakfast drink, but it was helpful for me to get ready for the day and then go out for coffee instead of making it at home. And now I normally make my coffee at home. I've got cold brew in the fridge. I've got a Keurig. So I have all these options for making coffee at home, and it's typically what I do. But during that era, I just needed to get up and ready and get out of the house. Also, I was homeschooling at that time, so I didn't have the school commute. It was, always kind of like summer in that I could start my day whenever I wanted to, and it just didn't have as much structure. Because typically when you're homeschooling, you do have a start time, but it's not as early. You're not getting your kids up as early as you would if they needed to get ready, pack a lunch, and all the things. Like, you're starting a little later when you don't have all that other stuff to do. So that was how I injected structure into my day, by getting fixed up, getting that caffeine, and then I'd come back and do my housework and get my kids up and start their day. At other times, getting up and getting ready, at other times in my life, getting up and getting the kids ready for school and dropping them off provided the necessary structure, because then when I got back, I was already dressed for the day, fixed up, and ready to tackle my housework. And then, of course, working outside the home is another way that my day was structured. I've worked full-time off and on, and I've also talked about the fact that working part-time is best for me. I do like to get out of the house and do some work, but I also like being a homemaker, and working part-time is the best balance for me. And I used to have a job where I would work in the morning. I think it was like 9 to 1 or something. And it was just the ideal schedule for me because I got fixed up, dressed to the shoes, and then I got home and still had a lot of energy because I'd only worked a half shift, basically. And I'm not saying if you're a full-time stay-at-home mom that you need to get a part-time job. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that's kind of what works for me. But during times when I was a full-time homemaker, I had to find other ways to inject structure into my day. Right now, all I'm doing is the podcast and college classes because, as you know, I work at a school and we're out for the summer. So something that has provided me with structure so far this summer is getting up and making my son's lunch. My oldest son is staying with us right now, and he works somewhere where he can't buy a lunch. So I've been making him burritos in the morning, and that causes me to kind of detail my kitchen. It's a time when I can put away my clean dishes and wash any dishes that were left from the night before. And it just gets me up and going. Another possible way to inject some structure into your day is putting your kids in some kind of swimming lessons or day camp. This week, my youngest son is in firefighter training. He also has soccer practice on Monday and Friday evenings, but that's later on, so it doesn't really help with the morning routine. So I got started even earlier today because he has the firefighter training. But even before that started and long after it ends, I'm going to be up making my other son's lunch in the morning. It's time to get started on your dishes, whatever that means for you if you haven't already done so. Again, you might have had some dishes from the night before. Now's the time to do those. If you don't have dirty dishes from the night before, now's a great time to empty your drying rack or empty your dishwasher. And of course, it's always a good time to wipe down the surfaces in your kitchen. But I want you to spend a few minutes getting down to dish 0, wiping down your surfaces, and then sweeping or vacuuming the kitchen if needed. If that's not needed, of course, you can just do kind of a whole house pickup, starting with throwing away trash and then dealing with whatever other clutter is around. But while you're working on dishes or surfaces or picking up, I just wanted to say that I just got a new toy, so to speak, and it's the Shark Lift Away Navigator. Basically, I just went into Walmart and I got the most expensive shark that they had, but I Googled what's the best one on dry floor, hard floors or whatever, and got that. And then my husband and I were talking and I was like, I don't think I'm going to use this all over the house, even though you can put it on different settings. I'm going to keep using my existing vacuum on the carpet, and I'm just going to use this one in the kitchen because I don't want it to wear out or whatever. I want it to last as long as possible. And I told him, I just hate sweeping. And this is probably the third house that I've had that had a huge kitchen. No, I don't have a huge house, but I'm talking about a lot of 3 of the houses that I've lived in, including this one, had huge eat-in kitchens where just a lot of the square footage is in the kitchen. Sweeping might not be a big deal if you just have some small U-shaped kitchen. In fact, in one house we lived in, the house was 1,900 square feet, but the kitchen was similar to an apartment kitchen in size. And that was nice when it was time to sweep. Sweeping wasn't a big deal, but there was a challenge as far as storage because we didn't have much cabinet space, and I had to get like a different container to put things in. But if you've got a huge kitchen like me and you despise sweeping, I definitely recommend investing in a quality vacuum that's good on hard floors. I'm talking something that can suck up cat litter, Cheerios, whatever. Okay. And no, our litter box isn't in the kitchen per se, but it's in like the opposite corner. It's in that tiled area, but it's in the opposite corner, like past where my dining room table is. Okay. And so I wanted to make sure that whatever I got would vacuum up any cat litter that happens to get kicked up onto the tile. And of course, Cheerios are just an example of something that's not super tiny. But in reality, my dogs will eat any Cheerios typically that end up on the floor. If you're wondering why I have Cheerios on the floor, sometimes I have grandkids and their toddlers. Most of you are probably plugging away at dishes, but if you don't have any dishes to wash or put away, obviously be wiping down your countertops and sweeping or vacuuming the kitchen. And if that doesn't need to be done or you get it done super fast, the next step is to go through your whole house picking up. By the way, special thanks to my financial supporters who support this show either on Patreon or Apple Podcasts or some other way. When you subscribe to bonus content, you unlock longer episodes. Not every episode is longer, but in general, the bonus episodes tend to be longer, and you're not really on the full program until you subscribe to bonus content. But I understand not everybody's able to subscribe and just listening helps me, but I wanted to give myself a little plug there. This is going to be a short episode. Most of the free ones are. But one of the reasons it's so short is I do have company right now, and I want to spend quality time with my granddaughters before they go home. Jessica's in town with the girls. But I've really been keeping on top of my housework, especially the kitchen. So I just wanted to share with you that having something that you do in the morning that gets you to start your day at a certain time is kind of important. And your summers could be a little bit laid back, but you still need to get started early in the day and set yourself up for a successful day. So hopefully I've helped you think about your summer routine. And if you work from home or you work outside the home and basically you go to work every morning, even in the summer, you definitely want to have a few things that you do before work. Obviously, you need to get fixed up, maybe pack a lunch, but try to have a couple things that you do for your house. Because when you do things for your house, you're doing things for yourself. You're improving your quality of life by improving your surroundings. Okay, but some of us need a little more structure to make sure that we're consistently doing certain things early in the morning. And I also wanted to give you permission to get some type of vacuum for your kitchen floor if you're one of the huge kitchen girlies like me and you have a large expanse of flooring and you despise sweeping with a broom. Obviously, you'll still use the broom in certain situations. You know, you break a jar, you're sweeping up glass or something. Yes, of course. But I'm saying I don't like to have to just sweep every particle of dust from my kitchen floor. And for you, it might be something else in your housework that you don't like doing. And it might make sense for you to buy some kind of gadget or tool to make that easier, or maybe delegate it to someone in the family who doesn't despise it as much as you do. I mean, it's summer. You could hire a teenager to come over and do certain aspects of your housework if you can afford it. I haven't done that per se, but I used to pay Jessica to clean my house when she was a teenager. And off and on over the years, different teenagers have approached me, Mom, is there a way I could earn extra money? Boys, girls, doesn't matter. Everybody should be doing housework, and every kid should learn how to do all aspects of housework at some point. Even if, you're doing a thing where your boys take out the trash and they mow the lawn and things like that, that should not be all you teach them. Okay, my husband grew up doing dishes. He knew how to cook, and he knows how to clean a bathroom and all the things. And we teach our boys to do all of that because it's not gender specific. Housework is not gender specific. And being a stay-at-home mom does not mean that the housework all falls to you. Okay? Obviously, every situation is different. Every marriage is different. But if you have school-aged kids, they need to be learning how to do household chores. A lot of times I give them the chores that they like more, but they've all done dishes. They've all cleaned a bathroom. I don't think my 13-year-old son has been trained on deep cleaning a bathroom yet, but he will be. Anyway, whether you're a parent or not, hopefully I've given you some ideas for adding some structure into your day over the summer or just in life. I hope you got a lot done during this episode. Happy cleaning. I hope you're having a wonderful summer, and I'll talk to you again soon.